welcome everyone to either Twitch and or YouTube. In the blue, we have Taro Gangs as the Russ, a top 1,000 player. And am I doing it right? In the bottom, red as the English. I can look up quickly afterwards. I couldn't find anything exactly on who this is. I'm sure there might be some way. If you do know who they are, please let me know so I can post their socials in the description so they get, if this goes on YouTube, we'll see how good of a game this is. If not, it might just live in Twitch's infamy. But Tower Gain's a top 1,000 player. So yeah, just having some fun on the PUP. We have a house, we have a villager. We obviously have the scout going to look for deer and wolves. To complete the hunting quest. Found them. Oh, he's just cruising around. This guy's just cruising around the back end. Okay, so we have the English. Obviously, a lot of changes there. As you've seen some of my other videos, there's changes to the Council Hall. There's changes to the Abbey of Kings. There's changes to all the landmarks afterwards. So just there's no set build orders yet in PUP. So there's going to be people testing out every sort of thing so that the gameplays won't be as strategical and as surgic as going into it, like let's say a Conqueror 3 gameplay towards the end of Season 3, like the first two on my channel. Those are going to be, they're going to be following kind of standards, they're almost not set in stone, but like kind of exactly the perfected timings and builds. Obviously, they'll also be practicing for pro events. Like the EU Master, like those type of things. So they're gonna be practicing exacts. This one is just more for fun, kind of seeing what's strong, what's not. Like for instance, like I know like elephants are really strong for the deli at this point because they've reduced the cost. Oh, a little scout on scout action with the help of a wolf who is currently targeting the Roost Scout. So which we'll be losing since you're fighting a scout and a wolf. For the English, we have 3 on gold, a classic, and then we have this lovely, what a lovely map as well, with just like the lovely bamboo forest to collect wood. Then the lone tree over here, wild dove tree, large tree, bamboo tree. I do love the, so we have the council hall coming down. I do love how just Age of Empires gets all the little things right too. A little satchels of things by the house, a little chicken. It's so nice. So we have a council hall. Obviously, the changes are pretty widespread at this point. It allows you to not only build longbowmen at age 2, but it allows the 100% build speed on all units and technology, which is huge because the English obviously have a huge issue with dealing with knights and men-at-arms early on. And also, if you don't kind of get them before the feudal age, it's definitely going to be a rough castle age for you. And then, obviously, the economy in the back end with the farms, you can then kind of bolster up again in the later age 4. But now with this, you do have a slightly stronger castle age, as you'll be able to produce crossbowmen a lot faster, which will kind of cover some of the weakness of the English in that castle age, which is definitely going to be pretty nice. As an English player myself, I'm excited for that. I do think they're going to be a little overtuned, so I'm assuming we're going to see some changes pretty early on. There you go, 25 gold for killing that wolf. We have a Kremlin hanging out over by, it looks like the boar and all these deer. Interesting that it's not closer to a town center, which also may mean that they're going to look to build a town center over here. But it can levy militia. I'm sure you've seen a few of the videos. Every 90 seconds, every 3 minutes they can come out, but then they'll last for 90 seconds. It's 6 militia that pop out, and they pop out at the nearest town center, and they kind of just then usually they're used to at this point rush and harass, but also that they can be used for a defensive like a tower rush, something like that. Oh, excuse me. Where are they going? They're going for the boar. Luring them closer to the Kremlin. Nice micro by the Rus player. And then they're going to look to micro out. Oh no, that's too bad. Lose a civilian for the trouble. 75 gold. And your reward is 2,000 food. Scouted out early though by the English, which is going to be incredibly helpful because they can attack both. That's a fortress, but knowing as well, as I was imagining, a wooden fortress going down in the Rus base to provide a bit of protection for the hunting camp over here, and also just the civilians that are back home. But most of the civilians that it appears no mining camp either. So it looks like most of them are over here. These 8. What is in here? That's just the scout, I'm assuming. I'm not 100% sure. Here are the militia. I missed them as I was getting lost in the scout, but as you can see, it can do a lot of damage. The idle time is crazy, and these units are going to die regardless. So any trade that you do with these units is incredibly preferable, because they're going down no matter what happens. Well, that was defended pretty easily, the first wave, so we'll see how well the English can continue to deal with the streaming of 6 militia coming to their base. But at this point, it looks like they were pretty safe. As you can see, you can get the arrow volley here. You can get the upgrades for all of these, and hand cannoneers, which I think will be huge in age 4. A fast production of those is always really nice. We got a hunting camp going up here. The Kremlin just kind of safe on its own. No one's really taking that out unless you have a sizable force. We have constant civilian production coming out of here. More and more food. The English, another town center over here. As they saw the Kremlin go up, they knew that they're pretty much safe to kind of move throughout the cabinet into the economy. And it looks like we're just going to have a kind of an economic game going on, at least to age 2, at least to age 3, and we'll kind of see how it goes from there. We have 2 scouts. When can we leverage this next? In 45 seconds, so I'm assuming on default. I'm assuming as a default, they will just be pressing that on repeat, on refresh essentially, which makes sense if you have the ability for free. Oh, they don't have, you know, pull those in. Those are just scouts. You don't have to worry about that at all. But a nice placement for this town center over here. Am I doing it right? The economy is going to be super nice. They have stone nearby. They have a hunting camp, and then a plethora of trees around. We have some berries over here. So I like the placement on this. We're done getting stone. Farm upgrades. Wheelbarrow, of course, coming in to make these even more efficient. Let's see. We got a little poor force over here. Usually you want to move out or do something in that sense to kind of see what you can do. Let's see. The scouts just cruising around, seeing more and more. The English should start to really get a civilian lead soon with the double town centers producing civilians. And yeah, it does. I mean, here's the militia, so we'll see if they can do any damage, any permanent damage for their temporary kind of life. That being said, the longbowman coming out with the English steroid, I don't think there's going to be much done here. The civilian just running away, and they're already down to 2, down to 1, and that's already over. So with just 4 longbowmen, it looks like you can pretty easily defend against those militia, which is, I mean, it's definitely a little bit concerning if you're the Rus and seeing how easy that was taken out. We have the High Trade House, economic landmark coming down. Generates gold like a hunting cabin with the increased value by 400%. Spawns a huntable deer every 45 seconds. That's pretty cool. And they can drop off food this building. So the Rus kind of spreading out all their economy, but not looking good in terms of score-wise. The English are kind of just having their way in terms of just kind of cruising around. High food, such low food over, lower food over here. High wood, higher wood, and also higher gold. So the English kind of just cruising. It's looking like it's going to be, I would imagine, a victory for them. Ooh, getting 1 or 2. Can you get 2? That's huge. The English longbowmen still so good at early pressure. What is that? Oh, they're attacking the house, which is pretty much useless at this point. But so good at early pressure. There's age 3 for the Rus. King's Palace going down. Where for the English? I see some walls right here. Again, they're just going to be constantly producing even more civilians, so I'm assuming the English economy is going to be bumping very soon. It already is, but it's going to get even more flourishing if the Rus don't start attacking, or at least showing some sign of early pressure. We have, when's the next time this comes up? I'm assuming in 27 seconds we'll see another thing by the Rus. That scout goes down, which is not good. This scout over here, seeing that the walls are coming up. English incredibly comfortable with this going into age 4. With the economy that they're going to be producing, 50 to 35, it's going to be very advantageous for them. They even catch this scout in the middle. I'm not as comfortable with knowing all the things about the Rus, so I'm trying to learn as much as I can. It does look like, though, 179 gold per minute, so it does look like the gold will start to kind of come in. There's Castle Age for the English, and instantly starts producing civilians out of this one. I wouldn't be surprised to see a few more farms going down. As I say that, there's another one. We have, I don't think it's the militia, I think that's just normal men-at-arms. Yes. Which is a great counter for the English as going longbowmen, and here comes the crossbowmen. So just in time, these men-at-arms kind of showed up at the worst time, because just in time for them to get crossbowmen, which are going to melt these men-at-arms, and throwing away 3 men-at-arms for a little bit of idle time on the wood. That's probably not worth it for the investment. And seeing those 5 crossbowmen, obviously crossbowmen being able to come out of here at this point will make it so that those kind of pushes are pretty negligible, which before, without that, obviously they do have an archery range, but without that before, it would have made those pushes so much more deadly if you just had a ball of archers instead of these 4 crossbowmen kind of weaved in. We have a mass grouping of 6 men-at-arms over here, hidden in the trees. It does look like our English force are going to see them, which is pretty... How did they know? They were right there. Picking off an early man-at-arms. I think another one's going to go down if these crossbowmen can get their... Wow, 2 free men-at-arms. That's pretty much 5 men-at-arms for free at this point. Do we have the militia coming out anywhere? Not using it. Not enough resources at this point. The English going for steeled arrows, which makes a lot of sense, as they're going to go men-at-arms and or knights. Just mass crossbowmen, and it's going to be kind of quick and easy. That one horse going down pretty easily. The next one will as well. And now they're just going to kite all the way back, losing 1 crossbowman, and it might be the scout. Good spread by the English player. Going to kind of wait to see. They're just waiting to see if they can get as many. Yeah, they're just waiting to see if they can get as many as possible. The Rus player backs off with 13 strong men-at-arms across the map. There's a few more back here, hidden in the trees. So a pretty solid men-at-arms army over here, up to 17 on the map at this point. And they're creating light horsemen to kind of counter these archers and these crossbowmen, which makes a lot of sense. As you can see, counter by horsemen, counter by horsemen. So the correct play by the Rus player, with a ton of men-at-arms as their tanks, quote-unquote. The English sitting in a very good spot. More and more farms coming down. 78 civilians. They have 3 town centers producing citizens at this point. Well, I mean, none of them are producing besides this one, but still. This one is cleared out. Wonder if he's going to put down a mining camp for this stone. Also would not be surprised to see a keep very soon going down in the middle to kind of protect this sacred site. We have Armorclad coming out for the English, which I think they're start to produce 7 man-at-arms at this point, so their tanky units are going to be up front, and the English with this upgrade are going to be better than their man-at-arms, but still 21 to 7 is going to be pretty easy. But they have 11 crossbowmen on the backside, so if there's not going to be a good surround or a good fight, this could be over pretty quickly. Here's the battle. Here it comes. It's looking like these horsemen are getting onto the archers, which is not what you want. But good kiting by the English player. Let's see if they can take out that last one. There it goes. A lot more horsemen though, and they're starting to really pick them off, which is really a great call by the Rus player. The counters are working out extremely well. The only concern I have though is the economic back end of the English. I think they're going to be in a very good spot. But that being said, absolutely cooking for food at this point. Alright. Is there a way to get past? He just walled up in time, which is great. Oh no, the army's kind of split out. Getting some free pickoffs from this wall. That's why walls are so important. If you do have a chance. Now the armies are split. The archers are able to free fire, which is not good at all. These few man-at-arms are providing the wall they need. These civilians just hanging out, chilling, like nothing's even happening. Casually putting down a mine there. I am trying to speak as fast as I possibly can. The men-at-arms are going around the backside of the barracks, but I don't think it's going to be good. That is why walls and defensive structures are so important. That just changed the entire aspect of the fight. These archers firing freely can do as much damage as they possibly can, and the horses can't kind of get onto them. Man-at-arms hoping they would find some sort of civilians down here. Unfortunately, they did not. They're going to loop around to the farms in the back. I'm assuming that our Rus players are going to know this is coming, so they're going to English players know this is coming, so they're going to move their army down. Still none. A pretty menacing-looking squad though, with these these sabers. Oh, picks off 1 civilian. Picks off 2. Picks off 3. So getting decent value for what would already be a pretty much dead force. 4. Going down 5. Can you get 6? Yes. 6. And then I think maybe 7 went down, which is pretty good. We have these coming on the front line. These civilians, though, as the English fighting back with their bows the best they can. We have now spearmen into the tree line. But here comes the civilians again with their archers. English and bows are just hand in hand. I think the English are going to take this game as it's now 51-9 in terms of military. I wouldn't be surprised if the Rus do a quick GG. Don't think there's much coming back from this. And yeah, now the English are going to move out with a very sizable force that I don't think there's much the Rus player can do about it. Almost double the score, as you can see. 23 men-at-arms, 18 crossbowmen, 15 veteran longbowmen versus 6 and 6, which is just not going to cut it. Obviously, the veteran horsemen are only good in mass against this type of army. Cut down in numbers like they are, it's not going to do much at all. And this ball is moving forward quickly, and I think they're going to get a free pick. Yep, you're going to get a man-at-arms for free, they're going to get horsemen for free. Not what you want is your horsemen charging into 27 man-at-arms by the English, and this is GG. Yep, there it is. So great game. Thanks for joining. If you came by on YouTube, please do like and subscribe. And if you're by Twitch, hold on and we'll do a few more games.